Hey folks, in this episode I caught up with Gbóláhàn Adébáyò. Gbóláhàn's relatively new to the Tableau community but has been making a huge name for himself. He's become Tableau featured author, has won a coveted Vizzy Award, and has already won 3 Visitor Days, including this one. I was really interested in how this chart came about, so I caught up with Gbóláhàn. So we'll make of a Monday, you're just given this data set along with everybody else. Hey, go and build a viz from this. So what I'm always interested in, what are people's first steps? So you've been given this data set. What are you doing? Are you diving like straight into Tableau, or are you going like off researching things on places like Google? I don't know. Let's hear you about your
Yeah.
process.
When I first get access to data, like it's most times it's not like every community project that I get to see that I really want to like make a visit about. Like sometimes like I might find the data really interesting, but like I might not be able to like get the exact thing I have in mind like to show. So like it's in two places exactly. So like one way is I know what I want to like visualize like at the end. Like I have a chart in mind and I think like this data might work good for it. And then another way is like I don't know any charts. I'm just like diving into the data and then just open like I get to like do some research and then I get to like get an inspiration and then visualize. More recently, tending towards the I probably go through Pinterest like every day and then I have a lot of inspiration saved up and then I'm usually like hoping for a data set that could like turn out the way I would want it to be. And then once I'm able to like go through the data set itself and I see like I could make like some connections between one part of data to another part, and then this chart could like tell the story well, and like, yeah, this is it. So and then go ahead to like, start working with the data, see if I could like modify or fine tune it or clean it up to like the way I would want it to look like at the end.
Notice that in
Yeah.
this bit, these are like not your typical kind of charts. I was always sort of thinking about like lines and bar charts, but you've got like the Sankey diagram, and then down here you got this sort of like bee swarm kind of view. When you were sort of going through that data, going through that process, was this did these charts sort of spark to you at some point along your process, or did you start this project saying I want to build out Sankey charts?
I didn't know like how I was going to like visualize it at the end. And so because it was like makeover Monday, so I just like waited to like Tuesday or Wednesday to like see what people are like visualizing, like to see like how people are like interpreting the data like from their different perspectives to see if I would maybe like get something that could inspire like what I was going to like look at data from a view. A few days later, then I got to see like so many people like interpreting data sets in different ways, and then I just got to feel like, hey, I said like a viz like some time ago that like had this Sankey and then had like a big category broken down to like different aspects like for each of them, and I felt okay, the region breakdown, and then there is the different situations like for like generally. So I was thinking if there could be a way for me to like show the relationship between like the different zones and then the situations, and then I already like in the biz I was inspired by, it was already like a Sankey there, so I felt like a Sankey could work, and then that's just it. So I think it was most times I take my cue from like in this case especially like from looking at what people are like visualizing, and then from this same data set, because it's a community project, so many people are like doing many different things like visualize from different perspectives. So I waited a little bit to see how people are like interpreting data like from their own views, and then I felt okay, yes, then I think I could take my own from like this unique standpoint, and then a Sankey would like work best to like show a summary, and then the bit swamp like later. So
Right. Well, one of the things I did notice about this was the color scheme here. So like you had a very sort of stark sort of black and white kind of background, almost like a newspaper in itself. But then you've got these sort of colors, this sort of pink and then bluish kind of tealy color coming through as well. How did you decide to pick those color rather than just sticking with like the defaults we get with Tableau out of the box?
I went to like the Adobe colors palettes, and then like just looked through to see like if I could like get the right color scheme. But I don't think I did a really great job of that. And so I think after I used like the first color scheme like palette, I decided I went with, then I decided to like, because I'm good friends with Chimdi, so I decided to like share my views with Chimdi and say, hey, look at this. I think like maybe it could like need a better view, like from someone that is really, really design oriented. And then he sort of suggested, like, why don't we go with this color? Like, I think this could really, really work. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so we went through it together. We like got on a call quickly, and then he shared the color palettes, and then I worked on it with him. And after we worked on it, then I felt like this is like a huge difference, like where I was coming from, because it made a whole lot of difference, to be honest, because Chimd is like very, very design oriented. So I think it was majorly me first, like choosing some colors. Actually, they were good, but I felt like if I used them, they probably wouldn't have done like a good job as much as this do. So this does, I mean. So I think huge influence from Chimdi. So like from the feedback, like usually like a very important step in my process of creating a viz, I sort of like do it halfway and then send it through to someone, for like a feedback in terms of the design or the layout, see if there's anything like I'm not seeing, and then if there's any suggestion, then work on it together. So it has the Chimdi touch.
That's amazing. And that, what a great friend to have. Like, I mean, Chimney as a friend's like top tier. Whatever secrets he's passing on, pass on to the rest of us. So we all want to know. When you are going through like comprising sort of, you've picked out your charts, you've gone through your data. At what point are you deciding what the final product's going to look like? How are you going to package it all up and put it out there on Tableau Public?
For this viz in particular, the data itself, like the press freedom index itself, sort of like made me think of a way to maybe lay out the viz in like something that could resemble, something that could maybe catch the fancy of like a first time reader, like someone that's probably like not as much interested in like a press freedom index like viz. The layout idea, like you said, like came from a sort of like newspaper-ish type of like layout, so that everything is like from the title then to like a little explanation of what is happening to press freedom to like the chart itself. And then even though there's like a lot of text in the viz itself, I think that there's loads of text, but the layout intention from me was because I was going to have a lot of text, and so I had to be very particular in the way I got to like lay it out, so you don't get to be bored, let me use that word, so like you don't read too much text and then you lose interest in like what the viz is saying and all. So lots of spacing, lots of arrangements, like lots of iterations. I tell you, like I probably like went through this like so many times, I lost count of, to be honest, just to make sure like maybe it was like giving me like the vibe I would want to get as a first time reader. So at the end, I just like settled on like this final view, like making sure like I could explain what it's about, and then a quick intro, and then the big viz, and then lots of text around it with like the connotations and labels, and then a secondary chart below. And yeah, so that was just like the idea behind it. So just thinking about how a first time uninterested viewer would like see this viz and suddenly become interested. Anytime I'm not vizzing yet, or like I am like sort of don't have like what next to visualize, and I'm thinking of like what could be like the next thing I want to put on my profile, I like have this habit of going through Pinterest and or like other visualization newsletters or websites to look for what people are doing, like ideas, and could be like the charts, could be like the colors, could be like the layout, could be like the font hierarchy, how like everything is arranged. So just sort of like taking all this and then saving all of them together, like just dumping everything into like a folder or into somewhere, because I know like maybe very soon at some point later in the future I get to see a data set, I'm like, I think I like this, and then I just go through the list of so many visualizations, and then at some point one catches my eye and I'm like, okay, this could work. So I think that was exactly like what happened with this. I already like saved this like some few, I think, days or weeks before the Makeover Monday data set came through. And then I saw the data set and I felt this could, work one way or the other. So when I was looking through the list of the saved visualizations I had at that point, I got to see this and I felt this was showing like a summary view, like through the Sankey, and then it had like a secondary chart like below it, like to explain. I was unable to like get the line chart because I don't think there was anything like interest in terms of trends, like the way it was at the end. So I had to like ditch this two and then go with this one instead. But that was just like the main idea. And if I go a little bit backwards, you would see like I have like a whole list of
all pins here. So you've been collecting loads of like Pinterest for all kinds of stuff. Like I see a lot of like radial themes going on here, you know.
Yeah, I think I posted like a viz like I think early last month that was like inspired by this. Like the last viz on my profile was also like inspired by something like this. Like I had mine like with the bomb charts, some vertical bomb charts, something like that. And so I got inspiration from this too. So it's mostly how my visualization process usually like go through the inspiration, saving things up, and then coming through to see if anything could like spark like the creativity. And then if I get one, then I get to like just follow through.
You've got this very like consistent, very like polished kind of look and feel to your work. I'm kind of thinking like I always like miss something when I'm doing a bit. I don't know if you've got like a checklist or something, or you just have this sort of process you run through. It'd be great if you had any like guidance for us on like or what you do when you're in those final steps of a viz.
What I usually do like in the final steps of my viz is like I upload like my work to like Tableau Public. It's hidden, but like for every stage, for everything I do, probably like the viz is not completed, I upload it to Tableau Public, and then I try to like it sounds like weird, but I get another system, another laptop, and I just click on the link and then see the way it pops out like first time view, and then see like how everything is arranged. And I'm like, okay, I need to like change one or two things, and then go back to desktop and fix it up. So it's a very funny process. Like I work a little bit and then I upload it to Tableau Public, see how it looks like on the web, and then go back to desktop and then keep working. And a lot of times I sort of have this mental checklist of things I have to check, you know, from the fonts, like the arrangements, my tooltips, you know, some of this like, you know, normal basic things that we all know like to check. Aside from that, mostly when I'm done, I look at it like if there is any way to like maybe improve a design part of it, or if there's something else I could add, something extra. And then, like I said earlier, that's when I feel like, okay, I should share my views to someone, maybe halfway or almost getting to the end for some feedback. If I still feel like there's something missing and I don't know what exactly that is. Like you said, you know, sometimes you're working on a visa and then you viewed it like so many times, like it feels everything is perfect, like in your eyes, and and you really feel like there could be something that could be added to like, you know, make it better. So, you know, sometimes you don't feel like it's even time to post it, but you're like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna post it and see what people think about it, because a lot of times you just feel I'm not done, but you have to be done. I mean, to move on to the next one. So
I just want to ask, is there anything else you're working on at the moment we should be keeping an eye out for?
I think right now I'm trying to like take courses on like Figma and design parts, like trying to see if I could like improve the design part of my visualizations. I think that's like a next big step for me, like to improve like the visual information for my visualizations. And I'm really eager to like see how I get to put that into my next viz. I'm trying to like not put too much pressure on myself. Like, okay, you know, just do it. But I think that's what I'm working on next, and I'm really eager to like apply some of these things I've been learning to like my visits like from here onwards. And so I think it's also like exciting for me to also see what next I'm going to come up with.
I had a great time catching up with Gbóláhàn, and here are some of my takeaways. Alternative charts grab people's attention. In this viz, we saw the Sankey diagram, we saw the bee swarm charts. These aren't the typical things you're going to be making with like Excel or getting in your PowerPoint deck. Really effective here for grasping your interest, pulling you into this data story to want you to learn more about what this chart means, what's it showing. Secondly, it's got to be that Pinterest board. So much inspiration there, just right at a click of a button. Massive benefit for sparking that bit of an idea that goes and helps you create that visualization. And lastly, it's got to be the idea of feedback. So Gbóláhàn has been able to connect with people on social media to help guide and advise them on different particular parts of the charts. Sometimes this will be like halfway through, but sometimes it will become when you hit blocking point, you don't quite know what to do. Someone else's advice, like input, can really help unblock the situation, fix a problem that you didn't see before, and help you progress to finish off that visualization. Looking forward to see all what's coming next. So join me and check out all those links in the description and keep an eye on what's coming up next. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.